Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an absolutely incredible day. Ledger has officially released their new touchscreen devices, the Ledger Stacks and the Ledger Flex. While traditional Ledger devices are sporting some fancy new colors on the screen, also available from Ledger are limited edition devices, one from Chalk Blade, one from Clay Nation, and one from the Hundreds. And Ledger is currently offering 10% off of their bundles and packs, the Family Pack X, the Family Pack S, and the Backup Pack as well. While I do not work for Ledger, I am an affiliate, and I have an affiliate link in the description below for those of you looking to secure your crypto. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. I like confirmation. I don't want to use the word repetition, but I like the path that we are currently on. A large amount of analysts within the cryptocurrency space have been basically lightly repeating the same things over and over. And that would normally be a bad thing, but everyone seems to be coming to the exact same conclusion. For those of you who missed a recent video, I forgot exactly when it was, we had information from Plan B, who also said, similar to other analysts, that it looks like Bitcoin will probably surpass 100,000. And by December, we might even see a $150,000 Bitcoin. That I think was the most bullish case. And I said it before, $150,000 per Bitcoin would make a lot of people very, very happy. It's not really the flip side, I guess maybe on the same side. The CEO and co-founder of on-chain analytics firm CryptoQuant has explained how this Bitcoin bull cycle could probably last until the middle of 2025. The only hyper deviations that we've seen from any kind of news like this is, so normally we hear mid 2025, or we're hearing October, November 2025. For those of you who haven't been here before, most bull runs have tended to end and or crescendo around the October-December timeframe. And the most deviated one comes from people like Mike Novogratz and a bunch of other people who think that this cycle kind of won't end at all. As we have continuously seen in the last couple of years, every time that there actually has been the quickest way to say it is basically, normally whenever a bull run ends, people tend to sell off their coins. Got it. However, we're seeing that now every time someone sells off any of their coins, these coins are quickly accumulated by whales in the market. So a lot of the more outspoken analysts believe that we might be in a situation where, what's this guy's name? The one who's always saying crazy stuff. He recently just said that cycles are no longer going to exist, starting from this point. What we're witnessing is hyper accumulation. And basically very few people, if any, will actually be willing to sell off their coins. Any coins that get sold off are going to be accumulated immediately. Price continues to go up, which is also lightly what we're about to hear about as well. In a new post on Twitter, CryptoQuant founder and CEO, his name is Ki-Young Ju, that is Youngju, has discussed about the pattern that old whales have followed in terms of profit taking during past cycles. He said old whales take profits during bull markets. Their selling brings new capital into accumulation addresses, raising realized prices. People who have been in the market for a while, they end up selling off to take some kind of profits. The new people who were in the market since around one cycle ago understand how much money there is to be made, and these are the new accumulators as well as the other new retail people who also enter into the space. Accumulation addresses refers to Bitcoin wallets that have no history of selling. There are a lot of them. They are normally not in the news, and that is often a shame. You know how a lot of times we've had news, quite often. We've had news before of there's outflows from the ETFs. Oh my gosh, people are selling from the ETFs. And in the same video, the same day, I'm like, oh, well, 3 hours later, whales bought up $700 million worth of Bitcoin. There are addresses that do not sell. I would assumeth these are the Tether wallet addresses, Jack Dorsey, Novogratz, Michael Saylor, like these people, like you don't really understand how much like they love Bitcoin, and there's no plans to relinquish any Bitcoin. A lot of Bitcoin maximalists, they accumulate Bitcoin logically, but they said in multiple different interviews, what have you, they have no plans on selling until Bitcoin is worth like multi-millions of dollars. So even then, they're still only selling fragments of their actual Bitcoin and never even close to an entire coin. These addresses also have a few other conditions, such as they must have at least 2 deposits and shouldn't be connected to any mining account or any centralized exchanges. They should also carry a balance of at least 10 Bitcoin, and their last transaction should have been within the past 7 years. There's a lot of news for those of you who've missed those videos of people between 10 Bitcoin and 100 Bitcoin who are accumulating more Bitcoin than they ever have in the history of Bitcoin. There's a rapid amount, and I'll say it to you this way. I think that a lot of the news that a lot of different websites and a lot of different YouTubers and a lot of different news sources out there would constantly have you believe, especially if prices go down a day or 2 or 3, is that there's some kind of a lack of interest. Or even we've had news recently like of governments and places moving their coins. There was recently like Mt. Gox moved their coin news, and people were touting that as the reason why prices dropped, and it'd be negative, sell off your coins as well, be very terrified. Whales don't pay any attention to that news except for the fact that they see that people are selling, you have sold, and then they end up buying. You need to really, I implore you, get this into your head. Bitcoin is either going to 0 or it's going to $1 million. There's really no in between. When Bitcoin goes to $1 million, in my opinion, that's my vantage point from what I've been studying and learning, we are going to see a massive amount of people desperately trying to buy Bitcoin, but if you can't afford $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000, you cannot afford $1 million. These people are making sure that they hold the currency of the future. And this is what I've been trying to get across since around 2016. And I know some of you understand what I'm saying, but everybody else, you gotta jump on board at this point, because every day there are massive whale transactions. I know you might hear about Mr. 100 on Twitter. That's this wallet address that's constantly buying 100 to several hundred Bitcoin per day. There are hundreds of wallets like this. There are tons of wallets buying 25 Bitcoin per day, 80 Bitcoin per day. It adds up really, really fast. Anywho, the accumulation address basically reflect the perennial hodlers of the market who only buy more and never sell during bull markets. As old whales break their silence to harvest their profits, that's an intense sentence. Demand from these hodlers absorb the selling. To display this trend, the crypto quant CEO made use of the realized profit metric, price metric, which keeps track of the cost basis of the average investor belonging to this cohort. The article goes on for a very, very long time. He's basically talking about if we get the same exact pattern as we've had every other pattern, if these wallets continue to accumulate, if you out there have no intention of selling, there are a lot of people, you need to get it. A lot of people have no intention of selling. I have a lot of friends who are in this market for multiple extra cycles. They want that $1 million Bitcoin. They want to be able to sell off fragments of their coins and continue to accumulate in the background from other passive income sources. He says if all of that continues, if history basically repeats itself, we're going to see this accumulation continuing, and even more than we had before, as we did not have ETFs previously. And this is basically going to lead us into what he says. He thinks that 4 months, 1, 2, 3, 4, of the current bull run have passed. I know prices have been a little staggered. He thinks we have 14 months left of prices going up, which leads him into a mid-2025, somewhere early autumn 2025 as his idea as to when the bull run will end. And this is what I said before, and I like that we're seeing this repetition, because previously, before in the past, we had, you don't understand, we had about 30 different analysts over the course of any given week who were telling us when this was going to happen, and they're all over the place. Like they were, throwing darts and you hit the floor. One goes to the sky, one is hitting the window. But now everyone is around the same exact idea. Bitcoin's going to hit 100K relatively soon, sometime this year. A lot of the calls are still for $120,000 to $150,000 per this year. And then sometime next year, the pendulum is swinging between July, August, bull run ends, to around September. So it's nice to see that everyone's charts are forming and looking the exact same way. It kind of puts things not into perspective, but, it kind of solidifies that, okay, this might be actually what's going to take place. Yeah, that's the Bitcoin bull cycle news. Getting a lot of good news recently. And yeah, let's move on. Okie dokie. So this might, how do I say this? This news was released and people were euphoric. Part of the problem is that the masses tend to read article titles and then kind of run to their friends and tell them A, B, and C when it's not even D, E, and F, and it's barely X, Y, and Z. Binance, along with many other crypto exchanges, are currently undergoing rigorous lawsuits from the US SEC. News and information came out about this particular lawsuit. People read the title, they created other articles and other videos about this, and people did not correct the incorrect information. And this is where we are right now. So we're going to go backwards to go forwards, and I hope you all stay with me. According to a court filing, holders of Solana, Cardano, and Polygon Matic can all breathe a sigh of relief. Why? The US SEC has backed down on its claim that they are unregistered securities in its latest lawsuit against global crypto exchange Binance. For those of you who do not know, the SEC has claimed that every coin is a security in their eyes, but more specifically, I think they made a list of around, I think it was literally 60 different coins. The most popular ones, and they said these coins are definitely securities. During this, listen to my words, during this one court case, there were certain filings by the SEC that said, okay, let's push all that to the side and move with the thing at hand. The pushing aside was the news coming out that these coins are no longer considered securities. You can even see on the screen, it says SEC's change of heart. The Securities and Exchange Commission has retracted its demand for a court ruling to deem tokens such as Solana as securities. The SEC has already informed the defendants, Binance and affiliated entities, namely Binance US, and ex-CEO Changpeng Zhao, that it intends to seek leave to amend its complaint, including concerning the third-party crypto asset securities, the regulator said in a joint filing dated at the end of July. The news spread like fire that was wild. Everyone completely lost their mind, and mainly the coins in focus that everyone cared about were Solana and Cardano. It was everywhere. People continuously promoted the news that the idea was this is a brand new chapter and yet 61 tokens. And therefore, when this is done, all coins are going to be not securities. The SEC has lost once again. You name it, people were reporting on it. I saw this everywhere. And as I was gifted with the ability to read at a young age, I went to school. Something said, hey, you should probably look around and read a little bit more. And luckily I did. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission has not definitively classified Solana as a non-security. Despite retracing their request for a court ruling on the matter as part of its ongoing lawsuit against Binance. In the ruling for Binance, they came forward and said, in the thing that we've tried to get a ruling against you for these coins, can we push that to the side for a second so we can deal with the other matters at hand? Because the SEC is going after Binance and not specifically these coins in this matter. The SEC is claiming that and also in this point in this lawsuit, Binance listed coins that are considered unregistered securities and allowed people within the United States of America to have access to them. They are still claiming that these coins are unregistered securities, just that Binance allowed people within the US to have access to these things. Do you understand? In a recent post on Twitter, Jake Chervinsky, chief legal officer at crypto-focused venture capital fund Variant Fund, noted that there is no reason to think the SEC has declared Solana is a non-security. That they don't want to discover on a dozen tokens in the Binance case appears to be a legit litigation tactic, not a change in policy. A bunch of other people, luckily came forward and also said the exact same thing. They were like, wait, nope. The SEC is still classifying these coins as a security. I don't know how. I'm not gonna please. If you've been here for the last 8 years, I shouldn't have to say this or clarify this. But if you've been here for less than a year, friend, please go Google it. A lot of people are not understanding exactly why the SEC is clarifying these things as unregistered securities. It not only has to do with the expectation of profit, it has to do with a leader, someone at the helm, someone who's putting all these things forth, who's talking about the upgrades and updates. There's a reason why Bitcoin has remained unscathed. It's because Satoshi Nakamoto is not here giving information. There's a reason, light reason. We don't know the reason, but there looks like a light reason why, and it's because Vitalik Buterin, while he is the face of Ethereum, he no longer is posting about this is what I think needs to be done to Ethereum. There's a reason why Solana and Cardano and Tron and a multitude of other coins are considered securities by the US SEC. There will probably be, at some point, listen to me logically, there will probably be, at some point, lawsuits probably against Cardano, probably against Solana in the same exact way that there was against Ripple and XRP. A lot of people in crypto keep assuming that, one win is a win for all. Ripple's lawsuit has gone on for 4 years, and it's mainly because of there's a lack of clarity from regulation, but also because of there are people who control Solana. When I tell you that it has broken down 13 times, who do you think is resetting it? The metrics are very, very simple. I'm not going into why Solana's garbage or all the other meme coins and the rugs and the scams and stuff like that. But when you talk about the same exact thing for Cardano, Charles Hoskinson announces everything. He has all the propositions for the coin. If he has a bad day, the coin's price has a bad day. If he releases a really good tweet, the price goes up. So yeah, the news was that the US SEC had basically clarified that these coins were not securities. I saw a bunch of people on Twitter and online angry. Why isn't Solana pumping by 30%? Why isn't Cardano shooting up into the sky? I don't understand. And then luckily a bunch of other people came forward and they were like, well, that's because the SEC never said anything specifically about these coins. This has to do with the direct lawsuit for Binance and the fact that they listed these coins and allowed Americans to have access to them. Their stance on these coins has not changed and probably is not going to change for a very long time, especially as these things are decentralized, but nowhere near as decentralized as other coin projects. Don't know how to break that to everyone. This seems to be daily news right now. I found the actual document from the US SEC. It is 7 pages long. Basically, I think it's on the second or third. I forgot exactly where it is within the thing, but it was somewhere around here, and people were like, that's it. They said Solana. Solana's not a... And I was like, okay. I find time to be very interesting, and this is basically like a... Not a repeat of 2017, but yeah. Anywho, so as of right now, and I need all of you to really understand, because the delusion is actually a little bit scary right now. If or when Gary Gensler leaves the SEC, whoever takes over for Gary Gensler is going to be the same as Jay Clayton and Gary Gensler. There's some kind of a delusion that the next person who takes over is not going to try to protect the integrity and the strength of the US dollar, and also just simply will not be regulating. I'm not sure where this is coming from. I see a lot of really weird delusion on Twitter right now. Regardless, listen, regulations will always be a thing. I don't know who needed to hear that, but okay. That's the SEC versus Binance lawsuit news. No one from the SEC said that these coins were not securities, and they also have like CEOs. These coins have like head of the organizations, like is like investing in a company. There's a reason why many different cryptocurrency projects, the people have stepped away from them. Yeah, people will get it eventually, I guess, but new people to the market have no idea what decentralization and what security actually means in the eyes of the SEC. Oakley dokley. Let's move on. Also in the news, for those of you who were not here, a number of years ago, around 2017, 2018, the same exact people who tried to make you terrified 3 weeks ago, you must remember, of people selling their coins from Mt. Gox, are the same people who before were trying to get people to be afraid of people selling their coins on Mt. Gox. The idea is that if these people get their coins back, if they get their money back, these people have no idea what money is. They're going to sell the coins, and they're going to crash the market, and they're going to terrorize, and all this kind of fear-mongering that's been going on. Is not here, but for those of you who also missed it, the repayments have also stopped for Mt. Gox. The people who have their money already have their money. The repayments have stopped because apparently a lot of people have not been able to accurately prove that they actually had these accounts. The news that was allegedly that a bunch of people came forward and said, yeah, I had money on Mt. Gox, and they were asking for proof, and none of these people were able to prove them. So at the time of me making this video, payments have stopped. But over the course of July, a lot of people did get their money back. So the news is, cryptocurrency journalist and blogger Colin Wu published a post about a poll that took place among Reddit users, Mt. Gox Bitcoin recipients recently. For those of you who don't know, these people have had a Reddit forum for a little more than a decade, somewhere around that time frame. So you're able to actually go back through all of this to see that these people, were posting at the time of Mt. Gox, and they have claims against them. So therefore, He was asking all these people who are on this Reddit forum for Mt. Gox people looking to get their money back, or whoever already gotten their money back, what they planned on doing with their Bitcoin. In that poll, those users who received compensation from Mt. Gox in Bitcoin, the original idea was that these people would receive their their compensation back in US dollars. That was the idea. They were like, no, we want our Bitcoin back. And that's why it also took a lot extra longer time. Revealed what they are going to do with their newly received Bitcoin. The survey shows that the majority of the voters, here we go, drum roll. The majority of voters do not plan on selling their coins. What? No, but the people on Twittergram told me to be scared. But the people making videos on YouTube the last 2 months and the last year and a half and the last since 2015 told me to be afraid every single day of this event that already took place and people barely noticed. Oh, well, according to Colin Wu's tweet, so far there have been 467 people who participated in the vote called "What percentage of your Bitcoin will you sell immediately after receiving them?" I mean, that's a little bit on the nose. That's definitely a 260 Redditors chose the zero option, which accounted for 55% of the votes. 88 Redditors voted for selling all of their Bitcoin they will received or have received from Mt. Gox via centralized and currently operational cryptocurrency exchanges. That was 18% of people said they were going to sell. 68 people said they would sell from 1 to 25% of their Bitcoin. 26 Redditors chose the option of selling 25 to 50% of their coins. As we've gone over a number of times, I mean, and I'll be completely honest, I legitimately wish I had like 10 times as many views on my channel. I feel like we'd be in a totally different space mentally in the cryptocurrency market. The amount of nonsense that people keep posting to terrify other people, and it's explicit misinformation about what's going on, what's happening, where things are going, how, like, it's just constant fear mongering. I feel literally, if we had 10x the amount of views here, the amount of people they'd be able to tell, hey, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. We'd be in a very, very different market. I remember even back when Bitcoin Cash launched and when Bitcoin Cash Satoshi's Vision launched, I tried making videos and I was like, this isn't Bitcoin. Bitcoin's not like splitting. This is a brand new coin. Oh, the price dropped. Okay, well, no one listened. It's this kind of thing over and over and over. We know that a lot of these people have already been approached by whales, by institutions who said, if you plan on selling, tell us. We will buy your coins from you. A lot of people forgot, don't know, didn't understand that these people didn't only have Bitcoin on Mt. Gox. The assumption is that these people have been living in poverty and they're destitute. These were the only coins that they ever had. A lot of people back then had a lot of Bitcoin. So you had some there, you had some on your computer. I think Coinbase started in 2013 or 2014. People had coins everywhere. So over the years, these people already have had their coins. They've been a part of the game the entire time. They've seen Bitcoin go from $1 to $70,000, $80, whatever $1,000. They've been there. So they know that Bitcoin's going to continue rising in value. That's what selling 1 to 25% of your Bitcoin. They want some money. Listen, don't assume that these people don't want money, but they have a lot of coins. They're selling their coins to basically become millionaires, and they're like, I'll hold on to the rest of it until Bitcoin hits $1 million per coin. However, other YouTubers have had a field day telling people for years. I remember, do you not remember the last week of June? All the news from every other YouTuber was be afraid. I see the thumbnails that they use. There's a reason why I use the thumbnails that I use. It's meant to make sure that like there's words, like there's text, but it's also not me looking absolutely terrified. Like there's a reason why I do what I do. It's meant to not be hypey. It's meant to just give you the actual news. These other people, and oh gosh, I was looking at some of their videos. I don't know, guys, you might want to sell some of your Bitcoin right now because Mt. Gox, like, it's going to be bad, bro. Like, I think we're going back to like 26,000. The problem is that some people will listen to that. Some people will hear this nonsensical advice. They'll sell off their coins. Bitcoin dips by 4% and starts going back up. And it's like, if you are here for the long term, be here for the long term. Stop trying to time the market. Stop trying to day trade. Stop trying to be these like high frequency traders that you see in like a 1980s Wall Street movie. It's really weird. Like, it's so, anywho, yes. So, what a day of revelations. A lot of these people already have their money back. The people who wanted to sell already sold. For those of you who don't know, a lot of these people were given their money back on literal crypto exchanges. So they sold it the moment they got it if they wanted to sell anything that they wanted to sell. And even crazier, prices went up during July. Remember? As we also just got news that anytime someone sells, whales are buying. So yeah, people who've sold have sold. If they're going to continue selling, they're going to sell a bit. Even if they sold all of their coins, the market would be able to handle it. We have a ridiculous amount of liquidity in this market. That's why ETFs were launched. It's because of the amount of liquidity that we have. Even more so, it's their freaking coins. I said that before. People keep pretending that these people can't do with their money as they so choose. Imagine you had money on Mt. Gox in 2012. You lost, now what's around $8 million. If I handed you back $8 million, there is a 0% chance I'm expecting you to be like, no, I'm cool. I'm just going to sit here. Listen, realistically, I expect you to sell at least 3 to 4 million, go buy a house, and go on like a 3-year vacation. Realistically. Anywho, stop listening to charlatans and fear mongers. It does not do you good or well, or it doesn't help. It doesn't help at all. It's just absolute nonsense. Yeah, I do hope you've all enjoyed. I do hope you understand that nothing has come out from the SEC yet and probably never will. These people think all these coins are securities and will be deemed as such until a later date. Hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be. I do hope it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.